Hi, I'm Dan Krischer, and I'm here with Paul Mirkovich, a longtime member of Roland's Artist and Educators Alliance. And Paul is best known as music director for Rockstar NXS and Rockstar Supernova, which aired on CBS. He's also a music director for Cher and music director for the Amazing Pink Tour, and he's also a composer. And Paul's with us today to talk about his impressions of the new V-Combo VR-700 keyboard. So Paul, what types of gigs do you typically play organ on?
Well, I play organ on just about every gig that I do. I consider the palette of the B3 as indispensable as the piano. I play piano on every gig, so I pretty much play organ on every single gig. And depending on the gig, you know, a TV show where you're doing, you know, all kinds of different styles, a reggae tune and then a country tune and then a heavy rock song, you're going to run the whole gamut of what the B3 can do, from something very mellow and almost churchy to something that's just balls to the walls, heavy, distorted, you know, like a guitar kind of sound.
So on the gigs that you play, what kind of styles would you typically play?
Well, you know, it depends.
From artist to artist.
Yeah, like I play a lot of organ on the Pink tour, and on the Pink tour, the organ isn't necessarily present in a lot of her music from the records. But when you go to play live, we have two keyboard players, and I always find that when playing, you know, with a heavy rock band, or Pink's music has a tendency to go towards a rock genre, that the B3 in a kind of an open 1-in-5 style just adds a foundation. Even when there's another guitar present, it almost becomes like another guitar. And I find myself playing organ on a lot of songs, even when it isn't necessarily part of the original song, live, to kind of just beef it up and make it sound more powerful.
Now, you've had a chance to play the V-Combo. What are your impressions of it so far?
Well, I played the VK8 for years on both the Rockstar shows and then live. And comparing it to that, to the VK8, there are some big improvements, I think, in the sound overall. I think the overdrive is much better than it used to be. I think the percussion sound of the organ is better. I think it's a big improvement. I think the way it'll speak and hold its own in a big band setting, I can only anticipate that it'll be a pretty powerful instrument to play.
There are a number of combo-style keyboards that are out right now. Some have drawbars, some don't. How important is it to have tangible, physical drawbars on an instrument like the V-Combo for you?
Well, it makes it more like the experience of playing a B3, you know, obviously. On the original B3, you had 8 or 9 presets per manual, and then you had a couple open slots. Most of the time on a gig, even playing a real B3, you just use the open slots and you just change the drawbars. Not only because, depending on the acoustics of where you're at, kind of determines how you want your instrument to speak. But the other thing is, in the middle of a song, you want to be able to in the middle of holding a chord to pull the drawbars down, because you get a different experience. It's more of a, you know, it's the same like when a synthesizer player goes and grabs the cutoff knob or puts a modulation wheel up. You know, I mean, it's the same kind of experience. You wanted something to be interactive and immediate, and having the drawbars makes the experience of playing the organ an immediate response, as opposed to trying to change presets while you're holding something or whatever. I couldn't imagine playing an organ sound without having the drawbars there.
Now, there's also a piano on board, the V Combo. There's also ensemble sounds, but regarding the piano, you had a chance to play that, and it's a RD-700 quality piano. What was your impression of that?
The piano was responsive, and you know, it's strange. Sometimes it's strange for me playing a piano on a non-weighted keyboard, because I'm concerned about the dynamic response of how you play. But it seemed pretty dynamic as far as I could dig in a little bit and get more out of the piano. Playing soft was, you know, the tone. It wasn't clunky. A lot of times, synthesized pianos can be clunky, especially when you try and play soft. All in all, I could see that it would be very, very useful. It certainly would not be a piano that I'd be embarrassed to play, and you know, or worried about the sound if I played it live.
What kind of gigs would you anticipate using the V Combo on?
I own a C3 and a Leslie at home. I can't take that to every gig. You know, I can't put it under my arm and stick it in the back of my car. And also, even on bigger gigs, if I'm on a riser that's as big as where we're sitting, you know, I can't have a B3 and still be up there. You know, and I kind of need to be up there. So to have something that will sound powerful, will be have the experience of like a B3, of having the drawbars, have a very good overdrive, it has the advantage of having reverb. You know, the other thing that this has, which will sound sacrilegious to guys that just play the B3, is it has a sustain pedal. You can have a chord and put the sustain pedal down and then play something else on another keyboard, which you can't do with a B3, which seems like a minor thing, but it's kind of a major thing, you know. So having a combo piece like this that you can put under your arm, stick in the back of your car, take to a session that maybe that they don't have, you know, they don't have a B3 or a Leslie or whatever, playing local gigs around town very easily and very quickly. I mean, for 90% of gigs that people do where they don't have the luxury of being able to take a 200-pound organ and a 100-pound Leslie, which most people can't do, which is most gigs, this would be very useful for.
So would you say the V Combo VR-700 would have a pretty broad appeal to a number of different types of players?
Oh, I think it would be, you know, the tones themselves. I mean, I tried the tones with the gain control all the way up, with the gain control all the way down, with the brake, with the Leslie fast, slow, with it on the brake. A number of different drawbar settings. I think, you know, it would have a pretty broad use whether you're playing like an R&B church kind of gig. I could see that would be very useful, like people who are playing in churches and stuff like that. And then if you're going to play with a heavy rock band, I mean, I think it could be useful across the board.
Cool. Well, Paul, thank you for joining us. It was great to see you again.
Likewise.
And thanks for checking out the VR-700 V Combo.
My pleasure.